Hey there, so I'm going to start walking you through this emotional regulation course. So I want you to start by noticing your surroundings right now. I want you to turn to the left, turn to the right, and actually look over your shoulder, checking to make sure that you're safe. And now keeping your head straight, you're going to turn your eyes towards the ceiling or sky and then wait for your breath. So like this. As soon as I do it, it makes me want to take a really deep breath, so I do that. And then let go, and then eyes down towards the floor. You might take your awareness into your toes, and then, there it is, waiting for that nice big breath. Okay, so this is a way to start coming into the present moment. Notice any changes in your body. These little subtle things, these little spaces that you create, they're really, really important. And they help your nervous system to feel grounded, to come into the moment and to get out of that freaking busy monkey mind. Because if your mind's anything like mine, then it can be really hard work. And that's what I'm here to try and help you to slow down. Okay, so I wanted to start most of this course by talking about dissociation. It happens in your nervous system, and it happens for so many people without even realizing, which can be quite frustrating. But it can happen, as a trauma response, but it can also happen when you get really overwhelmed by your own emotions. So if you're someone who maybe grew up feeling like it wasn't okay, or being told it wasn't okay, or what you were feeling wasn't okay, then dissociating is actually like a pretty darn fabulous way to cope, because it helps to create like a protective shield around you that keeps the more vulnerable part of your psyche tucked away, and less vulnerable to being hurt. The hurt's still there though, it's just that you may be less able to be in touch with it in that particular moment. So whilst it is like quite a good coping strategy, it tends to be better when we're younger. As we get older, it can become more of a hindrance than a help. So it's not that we want to shame this part of you at all, we just want to work with it so that you can start to actually experience more of life and start to feel your feelings a bit more. Because even though it can be scary and a lot of people get really overwhelmed by it, my job here is to actually help it become less overwhelming. And the benefit of it is that you get to experience more of life. So yeah, you may feel some more of those shitty feelings, but the good thing is they don't last. And so it opens up a whole new world of experiencing, of feeling more love, of feeling more compassion, of really like taking in what this life is about for you, rather than letting it pass you on by without even paying attention. Okay, so you might have an interesting relationship to your own dissociation. You might love it, you might hate it, you might just feel ambiguous about it, you may not even be aware of it, and it might depend on how kind of, in internal family systems they call it, how blended you are with this part of dissociation within yourself. So by blended, it means that you're not aware that it's a part of you. It feels like it's all of you, and that's the only choice. So it can be quite like associated with a rigid kind of fixed way of being or thinking, and that's that real kind of blending that's happening. So really our aim across this whole course is to start to create more spaces inside of you and your thinking and your feeling, to start to kind of bring in curiosity, to start to have that spaciousness that you hopefully touched in on when you checked your surroundings, when you looked up and down, took that breath, I don't know what breath means, but that you can start to kind of create just a bit more slowness in between like a reaction, a thought, a feeling, and sort of like we're making room to have some more of the real you in amongst all of those experiences. Okay, so that's a lot of information to start off with. Just for a moment, going back to the breath, because often when we're being told lots of things, where our mind will start to jump around. So I just want you to really come home to yourself again, taking a breath, notice the settling. You know, I can really, as soon as I started taking that breath, I could feel, I was really aware of the helicopter flying overhead, and that it was irritating me a little bit, that there's a fly flying into my face, that my shoulder on the right side is actually really tight and I didn't even know. So it shows you how quickly we can actually come back to ourselves, but also how often we're spending time not actually paying attention and not connected to these things. And you might be asking, well, like, why would you want to be connected to that? Because the noise was annoying, the fly was annoying, the pain's annoying. I think the thing is that it is actually a really great prevention strategy. Being in touch with who we are, being in touch with our experiences, you know, again, it's that richness of life, it's the richness of experience, it's the capacity to know that everything comes and goes, and with it, it creates more space for more insight, more being, more feeling of like that breath. It's funny because I've trained myself so well that even just when I talk about it, it instantly regulates me. So whilst I had to feel some of those annoying things, the joy that I get is in taking that breath and going, oh, that's right, here I am. No one's going to get to me. No one, what's the word? Like, I haven't abandoned myself. You know, I'm coming home here, and it feels very, very grounding. So I invite you to practice these strategies. So it's just a couple of quick things to reflect on. Using your surroundings, using your eyesight, keeping your head straight and looking your eyes up and down and really going with the breath, making sure you're paying attention to the changes that are happening in your physiology when you do that. And then just kind of starting to become aware of this thing about dissociation. Like, am I doing it regularly? Is it something that I know about? Is it one of my favorite coping strategies? Just that starting to kind of bring in some awareness around your relationship to some dissociation that might be happening. So we're going to go into this more in other videos. Thanks for joining me today. See ya.